All the content contained in this webcast is for informational purposes only. The investments and strategies contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own independent financial advisor before making any investment or trading decisions. Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Tuesday's different edition of premarketinfo.com, where we try and prepare you for the most important hour of the day. Thanks to the feedback from many of our listeners, we're going to try and change the show up today a little bit for you, so we'd appreciate some more feedback. But as always, we're going to start talking about the S&Ps, Dennis. They popped. They smelled that 1520 level, 1419.75, but have pulled back subsequently.
Yeah, we kept drifting up there after hours, Joel. 1415, obviously, where we settled. We were drifting up. We were up, and even from fair value, because fair value is down around 1412.5. So actually, when you see us up down a point at 75 right now, we're really actually up a half a point on the fair value from 4 o'clock. But yeah, they were driving up there a little bit after hours, but now we are pulling back here, Joel. So it's just been a kind of a chop fest pre-market here this morning.
Yeah, Dennis, it seems like Big Ben got the ball rolling early in the morning with his talk about interest rates being low forever. Big shocker, and that was already coupled with the S&Ps having a strong close on Friday and continuing that in the aftermarkets. And then once it took out the form, it was off to the races.
Yeah, it really was, Joel. And obviously everything across the board was very, very strong. But the strongest stocks yesterday were really the financials. I mean, these financials had a great day. They were strong right out of the gate, and they just kept continuing to be strong. Stocks like Goldman Sachs, I know, Joel, were up over $1.89, and Bank of America was it was even strong a little bit too. So that was another one that was moving as well.
Yeah, I was looking at the Goldman Sachs, and we had talked about that 128 level as being a major resistance. It did get above there and hit 128.20 right in that area. So hopefully you could get a couple more closes above that area. But looking at the charts, Dennis, I don't see a whole lot of resistance in this thing up to the 140 area. And it's interesting that you mentioned the Bank of America. I actually took a look at that stock because of the $10 level, always a key psychological level, and also when a stock basically doubles in 3 months. And I looked at that stock, and back in January, it really hung out in the $10 level, hung out there for a while, and then boom, the bottom fell out, and that's when we ended up going down and later making the low of the move. And then yesterday, when all these financials are ripping, making new highs, and America doesn't even sniff the high of the move, which was 10.10, or a little bit higher than that, I believe, 10.18.
Yeah.
And then pull back and settle under $10, and then lo and behold, there's a downgrade today.
Yeah, there is a downgrade. RW Bear downgrading the stock today. So interesting, yeah, that it couldn't make a new high. It looked like it wanted to, obviously getting above the $10 area, but just couldn't take that area out. Now you get this dreaded like triple top thing going on here. Stock is pulling back. Not necessarily that's going to not retest that area once again, but man, this $10 area on this Bank of America is really starting to give some resistance here, Joel. It's trading 986 right now in the pre-market. So just down 7 cents. Has been as low as 976, so it's trading. It's bounced up a little bit from there, but the downgrade definitely putting a little bit of heat on Bank of America today. But another stock too, like Morgan Stanley, Joel, like this one was really flying yesterday as well. The stock has had, you know how I love my 2-day moves, and we really did. We were at 19.5 basically 2 days ago. Stock, rallies, and now rallies again, 21.17. When I'm looking at the book, I see some serious size of 21.5. That's a big level that we may approach here. I don't know if we're going to get there today or not. It's down 4 cents, but we took out that 2070 area. We broke out from there. That looks to me like where we might go to test for the next institutional area. And how those high-frequency guys love to lean on that institutional size. So 21.5, you expect some high-frequency resistance in the 2140s on the Morgan Stanley. What do you think about MS?
Just real quickly, going back to that Bank of America, I just want our traders to use 9 That was Friday's high as well as Monday's low. So, RW Baird may be looking to add to their short position if it can't hold 985. Looking at the Morgan Stanley, it did bust out yesterday, Dennis. 150 level really doesn't have a lot of significance to me. What I'd like to see on days like this is if a stock's going to have this kind of 2-day rally, boom, it closes it right near the high of the day. I like it to see a bust through the high of the day and then hold that level. So I'd be, looking at the high of the day there as a low risk short. And even if it pops above it, sometimes it does it by a nickel or so and then floats right back down. And the area that I would look for it to float back down to would be the gap area we have right around the 2050 level.
Wouldn't be a show if we didn't talk about Apple, though, Joel. And Apple, surprisingly enough, is down today. It's down $1.18. So the overall...
Did you check with your quote provider?
You never see Apple down in the morning. That always seems to be pumped up $5 every morning I come in. But today it's down, bucking the trend. Although it had a heck of a day yesterday, Joel. So we shouldn't make too much fun of Apple here because it was up $10.93 again there yesterday, approaching the old 52-week high. 609.65 is your 52-week high on there. Got up as high as 607.15. So man, you're getting dangerously close to making new 52-week highs on this thing, and it's probably going to get up there and test it. And if it starts making new highs again, man, I just don't know. I don't want to be short this stock.
Well, we talked about the setup on the was basically an inside day on Monday. It sniffed the low from Friday, which also was the low from Thursday. So, boom, guys, move your sell stops up to 595 here because this thing, the support is moving up. So it didn't take out the lower end of the range, which we were looking for to play the short side. On the end, it took forever and a brother to come up and break through Friday's high. And once it did, it got some real nice follow. So now we're trading down into pre-day's high in the close. Is going to be excellent resistance. I mean, if you're going to play it on the long side after that, I'd put a stop very close to that area in case it falls back through. Of course, we have the all-time high at 609.65 to keep an eye on. But I wouldn't be surprised if the market that this would just float right back down to that $600 magnet. And just on a fundamental note, I mean, I know I'm still one of these people living in the dark ages. I did have some problems with my BlackBerry yesterday. But, hey, I called customer service, and they talked to them, and they were very nice to me. They took care of my problem. So I'm upgrading RIM. Okay? I'm upgrading RIM, and I'm downgrading Apple.
That's a disaster call.
No, I swear, this is it. And this is the reason I'm doing it, is because someone has to come out with phones, that are less complicated. Okay? I mean, I want to call people and I want to get text back. I need a Go phone.
That's what we had in the 90s, Joel.
I don't care.
People like complicated.
Oh, my God. It's like, working all these things. Look at all these. I mean, it just screws everything up. They would probably work so much better if it didn't have all this stuff on it. But I'm upgrading RIM and downgrading Apple.
I may take the other side of your trade on that. But right now, I'm not sure either here, Joel. Obviously, Apple's had a heck of a rally. And speaking of RIM, I believe they have earnings on Thursday. So RIMM may have a run-up. So you're basically going to upgrade them before into the run-up. They were up 38 cents yesterday. So RIMM did have a pretty decent day yesterday, and they do have earnings on Thursday, and sometimes you do see these stocks run up before the earnings report, so it wouldn't surprise me if it actually did have a good day or two. But man, every time these guys report earnings, it's usually a disaster. So I hate owning this stock going into earnings just for that simple reason. If you do look at the charts though on RIM, 1475 as a double top from the last month. We were up there on February 29th, and we were also up there on March 19th. So 1475 is an area to keep an eye on if the stock did start to run in the next day or two. What do you think on RIM?
Well, Dennis, I know you don't like when we make outrageous predictions, and we never want our listeners to lose money. But I have a guarantee here: if you buy RIM right now at $14, okay, you're not going to lose more than $14.
Well, that's a good guarantee.
Okay. So if you could say, hey, I bought 100. Joel recommended RIM at 14. I bought 100 shares. Boom. I lost the money. So that's my buy recommendation. And as a target, that 1475 is big. That kept the cap on it. But just like everyone thought Netflix was dead. okay, when it went to $60 or whatever, and no one wanted to buy it, and the street was, going to the bathroom all over it, it got a bounce. So if you want to do a short-term play, maybe you get a pop up to 18, and maybe you lighten up. So if you want to do a risk-reward ratio, 14 with a 12 stop and trying to get out of it.
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind is, you remember Cisco had 3, 4, 5 bad quarters in a row. As soon as they had even, a hint of a decent one, Cisco really started to pop up. So sometimes these stocks, that have been beat up for a long, long time, if they can do anything right in the quarter, it could get a lift. So you want to keep that in mind too.
Yeah, just one final note on that, and I know we don't, we talk about these things sporadically, but I do remember Goldman upgrading this stock at $19 or so, and I can't remember what the target was. And Goldman Sachs is never wrong. So hey, if they recommended it at 19, it's a 14. You're getting a bargain.
Maybe you're right, Joel. Home builders in play today. Lennar Corporation, LEN, had earnings. The stock is up $1. They're showing KB Homes how to do it because KB Homes there last week did not have good report. But LEN did have a good report. It's trading up, making a new 52-week high here this morning, Joel. LEN, the old 52-week high right there at 27.07. We're trading 27.40, so we're taking that area out. I'd keep an eye on that old 52-week high. Maybe that area gives you some support now if we do indeed open above there. Other than that, the next psychological resistance would be 28, playing the whole number theory on that. But what do you think of LEN?
Well, I haven't done a whole heck of a lot of research in these home builders and stuff, but I'm sure it's got to be where they are geographically based, because they're really not building a whole heck of a lot of so perhaps if you're in other parts of the country, you're going to be seeing some more strength. But if you're looking at the charts, we blew the doors off this triple top here at the 2650 area. In the pre-market, Dennis, we have traded up to 27.50, so I'd keep an eye on that level. Looking at the longer-term charts, Dennis, I mean, you're getting back to territory here that this stock has not seen since '07, September, of up near the $29 levels. Yeah.
5-year highs are approaching.
Yeah, so I mean, there's been people that how Mas and Paz are, they just sit on a stock, they wait till they get back even. Well, they're going to have to wait a really long time for it to get back to the 05, 06 levels. But the momentum can carry this thing. I look up to 29. Really doesn't show any signs of weakening yet in the pre-market. If a seller did step shares or something, this thing could perhaps drip back down to that 26.50 area. If you're really a long-term player and you want to get as much out of this ride as possible, put your stop at 26.40, 26.30, and let the market take you out on the downdraft.
KB Homes is giving a lift here, though, Joel, with the Lennar. Obviously, KB Homes had a terrible Friday where it went from $11 down to $9.50. It's trading. It closed down at $9.62, so almost making a double bottom there. If you look at the chart, there is getting a lift. We're trading $9.88, so it is getting a lift off these LEN earnings. Maybe that double bottom holds here. The stock could start moving back up. What do you think of KB Homes now?
Well, we like the double bottom thing. So if you're looking, a low risk play, it was much lower risk on the close yesterday at 962. But yeah, keep an eye on this 950 level. Once you get a double bottom like there. Of course, if it comes back down over the next couple days, it's going to be good support again, at least for a bouncer to cover some shorts. I'm sure a lot of the shorts in this market were holding out for that $9 level, and we just couldn't get there. So what you see now will be, the bid stepping up. The value players, the people that, hey, I don't have to own this thing, but, I want to buy 5 million shares under $10. They'll start to step their bids up. But, below 950, bets are off. You could have another home builder come out with bad numbers tomorrow and have the opposite effect on KB Homes.
A little trouble over there in Europe. Total, or Total, as we probably call it. North Sea, here's the headline. North Sea gas leak forces evacuations by Shell Total. AP reports from the fly on the wall. TOT is down almost $3 here right now on this leak here, Joel. Obviously, not a good day whatsoever for this stock, trading 52.03 after closing at 54.79. Looking at the charts here, it's kind of in that 52 area where you might think there might be some support. But I know these leaks and stuff, you always get scared. You know, you think of the whole, the BP thing that went on for so long. You always get scared whenever you hear that, and it really makes sometimes these leaks turn out to be nothing. They can get them fixed, like in the Chevron case, very quickly at minimal cost. But, when it's early like this, it's hard to really tell how, serious this leak is.
Yeah, Total has been a total disaster here in the pre-market. Now, one thing I want to alert our listeners to here is that this is an ADR, okay? And it's traded 1.5 million shares already. So there's some selling going on here, folks. So don't try and step in front of a train. Also, looking at the pre-market, I mean, this thing has just been leaking, coming down from 53.5, where it was trading around 7 o'clock. It's trading at the low of the move here, 2 cents above it. It has, sometimes when we talk about these stocks with the disaster, they're $2 or $3 lower and they're on the incline. Well, there's no incline here, folks. 51.95. This is where this thing is trading now. There is no sign of support in this. If you're buying this thing, you think you got a low-risk entry, well, you better have a low-risk stop as well. This thing could really trade down to, as low as 51 before I'd really start thinking about buying it.
Yeah, so unpredictable when you hear these gas leaks and things like this. Another company that did an exploration update yesterday, MMR, which is McMoran Exploration. They were beating this up last night, but they're really beating it up today, Joel, MMR. The stock closed at 12.14. This thing's offered at 1040 now. Trading 1040, offered at 1040. This whole 12 area was giving it a little bit of support. It's killed through that. We knew there was a lot of air below this 1150 area. Well, man, it's just been straight down all the entire pre-market. Took out this 1150 in the pre-market, straight down. I was targeting $10 if it took out 1150. Man, it's only 40 cents away from there. What do you think of MMR?
I mean, as opposed to Total, this is it's made a bottom 1035, really kind of the same scenario. Just no bounce here. I do see that $10 psychological level. Going back to October, you hit a low at 979. If you really want to SOH and sit on your hands, this thing has traded under $9 back on my birthday, $8.75, and then on the 4th of October, $8.25. So, I mean, if you want to step out in front of this thing, fine, but below $10, look out.
WAG, W-A-G, reported earnings, Walgreens. So it's not all bad news today, Joe. We got some good news. Walgreens beating their number. Stock is trading at 35.05 right now, getting right to the upper end of this range here. We've had multiple tops in the 35 area, but we have cut through there multiple times too, up to as high as 35.50. So that whole area, 35 to 35.50, has been resistance here for about 6 months, Joel. This thing has been consolidating forever. We're at the upper end of that range here in the pre-market. Does that put a lid on it?
I'll tell you, channelingstocks.com, I wish I could go to their site and find out what's going on with this one. But, here you have a stock trading in range basically the entire year. This thing trades a decent amount of volume. And then, lo and behold, it's up 68 cents on earn. Hold this 35 area and rip north, or just go right back down and settle into that range that's been trading in the whole year. You're going to get, if you buy this thing off the open, you're going to find out pretty quickly. Also, looking at the pre-market activity, Dennis, this thing got up to 35.52. So if it's going to hold this $35 area, it's not going to get through 35.50.
May as well talk about CVS with it. It may have a sympathy move. Obviously, CVS Caremark there. I'm looking at the book here. $46 is that's some institutional selling pressure, which you know what that means. Those high frequency guys love that institutional sellers. They love to step in front of them. So don't be surprised if CVS gets a sympathy pop if it starts to stumble in the 45.80s and 45.90s, because those high frequency guys may provide some resistance there. Joel, what do you think of CVS?
I'm looking at the pre-market. I see where those trades are. I mean, the only word of caution our traders and investors is that, here you have a stock closing near the 52-week high. It's made a couple attempts there. So now, when you're settling near the top of the range, so for this to bust through 46, it would only be up 35 cents and trading 34 in the pre-market. So it's kind of getting a running start. The shorts are probably going to be, maybe throwing in the towel with this WAG news. So I don't distances. I know the HFT guys are there, but with this kind of news, everything going on, the close up net range and stuff, I'd be more tempted to go into them than trade ahead of them.
Well, that's all I've really got for you for the market movers here. Do you have any closing thoughts here on the overall market or words of caution on this little choppy but quiet Tuesday morning?
I just like to keep an eye on. I know we traded above yesterday's high in the pre-market, but I think that's going to be an excellent level. I know there was a lot of premium popped into this market, so keep an eye on the close in that 1550 area. 1550, it's a little bit more significant than the Globex high. And then coming back on the downside, I'll have a number. Then maybe we'll stick with this number for a couple days, folks. But I'm really going to keep an eye on 1408, Dennis. That was a level that we broke out from. We're still 5 points away from there. We come down and test it. It'll be good for a bounce, at least the first time. So that's the number I'm looking at. And on the upside, 1425 was a major high. Before we close things up, Dennis, just wanted to tell our listeners we had a little egg on our face yesterday from Pfizer Corporation. We had talked about that 22 holding forever and a brother, and then I don't know what they were saying in those healthcare talks, but got above 22, made a new high of the move at 26. So Pfizer may be good to go for its next leg up.
Yeah, Pfizer definitely surprised us by surprise there. Is getting a little lift in the pre-market, up 4 cents. But I like my 2-day moves. The thing it's definitely breaking out here a little bit. So on a pullback, maybe you buy pullbacks on that thing.
Okay, folks, we appreciate any feedback we get from you regarding the show today, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.